Hello, it is Super Orange Cat, and I'm back today with more Toonami related content. While Toonami decides what to do with the schedule, which is supposed to air in 6 days, and you're supposed to have promos for, and you have to at least submit to adultswim.com. While they're doing that, I decided to give some of my own Toonami content by analyzing, in my opinion, Sword Art Online Alicization, which just hit its halfway point this past Saturday and will be off the block for a while. And let's be honest, knowing how Toonami's issues now of acquiring shows are, might not come ever back to Toonami. So, in general, I thought it was okay, but that just saying okay really doesn't fully express my feelings about it, because I'm honestly just very, very mixed about this anime. Are there good parts to this anime? Yes, definitely. Some of the fight scenes, especially way early on, where it was Kirito and Yu-Gi-Oh fighting the goblins to save Masoka, I believe is her name, the sister of Alice, saving her. I thought that was a well done fight. Really emotional, especially with Kirito nearly dying in it. That's just something like, and I thought early on, based on that fight, like, wow, we're gonna have a really great anime when we get to the fights. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be epic. And that kind of was misleading. What I heard was that apparently they actually fired their fight director after sometime after they made that episode. So that kind of explains a lot, because for an anime that ends up being very, very fight heavy, it gets very boring and samey after a while, especially when they're in Cathedral and it's fight all these Integrity Knights. It just gets kind of boring. Like, it's like the Crimson Knight guy gets defeated kind of easily. Then you have, I don't even remember all the Integrity Knights. Then you have, can't remember her name, the female knight that talked about not being taken seriously because she was female, gets defeated because of Kirito. Then you have Berculi, which, okay, Berculi being the original Integrity Knight and being played up as this is the strongest Integrity Knight. Even Alice doesn't stand a chance against him. He got put to a stalemate by Yu-Gi-Oh! Of all people, who's, in my opinion, at least far and away the weaker fighter to Kirito. Okay, but I'm getting a little off track. Let me go to more positives I could think about it. You know, Asuna kind of has a reputation among the fan base as being an unlikable or kind of an annoying character. The little we do see of her in this, yes, she's barely in it at all so far at this point. I actually kind of like her character, you know. Like, you can talk about, oh, she's a damsel in distress. Kirito had to save her at the very, very beginning, but I mean, think about what she did to do with Kirito here. Like, okay, she's with him she stays nonstop at the hospital. Then after he's transferred out, she literally would not stop until she was by his side again. And I thought that was pretty impressive how she did it. How she was able to contact the, can't think of her name, the female scientist who was involved with the original Sword Art Online, and was able to get her to able to trick the people in charge of the turtle to get Asuna there as her assistant, paging assistant. I thought that was brilliant how they did that. I really liked, I think it was the end of the 5th episode, where you have Asuna taking off the wig and just straight up, I think, pointing a gun at the main guy in charge of the turtle. People, it's like, I'm gonna be honest, I haven't watched that much of the Sword Art Online franchise outside of Alicization. I don't get why people hate Asuna so much. From what I've seen, she's actually a pretty awesome character. Although she quickly goes away and becomes irrelevant. Because after, I think, the 6th episode, she only appears like one more time for like 30 seconds. I think this is like episode 11 or 12. I think this was just after the rape episode. There was this brief scene where she's eating lunch on the turtle with the green-haired female scientist lady, can't remember her name. And she like looks out to sea and sees like this like cargo ship, and she's like, "Hey, is this like your guard ship?" And then like the guy's like, "We're not supposed to have guard ships this close." And then he like turns around, calls this guy, says, "Yeah, we have a problem with this weird ship that stays close, that's staying close to us." which if you don't remember that very small specific detail, which is easy to forget because it's surrounded around, I think this was the scenes where Kirito and Yuji were trying to break out of the prison cell at the base of the cathedral, which was actually a pretty interesting, pretty smart scene where it was they figured out, okay, the only item as strong as these chains is the chain itself, so let's use the chain against itself, which I thought was pretty smart. Early in Alicization, they do have smart moments like that. Like smart about like how to figure out how to build your own strength so you're able to control the swords. Like small stuff like that. Really played into the video game aspect of you have to level your character in order to be able to do more and more things, which they just abandoned like partway through because it's like, okay, let's just forget about power levels and say that the ultimate boss is basically God, which they do with Quinella slash administrator. Like, oh, she's learned every secret art. She creates secret arts. No one can stop her. I didn't like that. And the ending with, and I'm jumping around the series, I'm sorry. The ending with Quinella slash administrator, where Kirito just gets really, really angry with the two swords and just stabs her right through the heart, being like, oh, that actually worked. So you have Kirito, who's like he's definitely getting stronger as the show goes on, but he is not like god tier. Was able to just stab her like that, and that's one thing with the last 5, 6 episodes with the show so far that aggravated me. It felt like they took every idea they had in the writers' room and just threw it on the screen. Like, okay, how about we have Yujio have a moment of doubt and like get brainwashed by administrator and have him fight Kirito. Okay, is that what we need to do? No, no. Okay, let's have that, but also add you don't have to. You're not going to fight administrator. You're going to fight this clown guy who looks like he's not threatening, has a really childish mind, but is actually far and away stronger than any of the Integrity Knights. Okay, let's have that fight last about 10 seconds at the beginning of an episode. Okay, cool. How about administrator was smart, won't actually fight the guys herself, but created this giant sword golem created by people, Soylent Green style, and just have that golem fight them. Okay, let's have it be defeated. Okay, let's have it be defeated, but then let's like bring it back so that the cardinal system, who's like the girl who's the only one that's remotely near Minister's power levels, can go and fight it herself. Right. But dude, we gotta have Kirito actually save the day. Okay. Let's have Administrator kill her, and then Administrator actually start fighting them. Cool. What about Alice? I mean, she's an Integrity Knight. She has a plot line. No, let's have her get knocked out. No, you know what we did with Asuna in the original, with her kind of trying to save Kirito's life? Yeah. Let's just do that with Alice. And that like kind of helps start triggering Kirito's memory to who Asuna is, that he only will start remembering at the end. Okay, cool. And Yujio, no, he dies and becomes a sword. Okay, good. It just felt like that. It felt like they took 5, 6 decent endings and just threw them together in like a 3, 4 episode span. And you could talk about, well, it kept you on your toes about how it's really going to end. But then it kind of ends anticlimactically because he doesn't ever actually stop Administrator. Administrator's like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to take over the real world now. And that be the plot. And then you have the ending with the crew, presumably from that one ship that Asuna spotted off in the distance, actually invade the ship and try to shut down the turtle, it appears. And I kind of like how they left that mysterious. But again, if you don't remember that one small specific detail from that one episode, none of this makes sense to you. Because, like, who the hell are these people? Were they just on the ship the whole time? Was it some evil insurrection group? Is it the government trying to shut it down? I don't know. It's just one of those things where ultimately, like I said, there are some moments I liked, like especially earlier on when they were smart. And one thing a lot of people hated but I actually liked was the quote unquote rape episode, the 10th episode. A lot of people were like, oh, it was needless. This was disgusting. It was written by a pervert. And I'm like, This was the smartest idea of the entire I'm willing to say, of at least the small bits I've seen of Sword Art Online Progressive and the original Sword Art Online, is that this was the smartest idea they've come up with yet. Because you have this underlying background of this is all a computer simulation, all the characters are NPCs in a way, and they're all set to follow this code, this moral system poured out by the church. And you have this moment where Yu-Gi-Oh faces a scenario that in a way is a catch-22 with a clearly it is bad that these girls, my trainee and Kirito's trainee, are being raped. However, according to the wording of the law, this is justified because this whole system where the school rules, which would ban the rape, get overtaken priority by noblesmen rules, which can be implemented by the two rapists because they were sons of noblemen. So because of their rank and because the girls were out of line addressing them, they are allowed to rape them, which was clearly wrong. And Yu-Gi-Oh knows, like, it's clearly wrong they're being raped, but if I do anything to stop this, I can't stop this because it's the right thing to do to rape them. So he hits this catch-22, and ultimately what is morally right in his head wins out. So despite the rule code, him being able to throw the rule code aside was symbolized by his right eye exploding, which is where the cardinal system lies in him. He uses a lot of technical mumbo jumbo for that. So he was able to break through and able to cut off the arms of one of the rapists, and then you have Kirito coming around. No, Kirito has known these boundaries because he is a human, and just goes on and just kills the guy right then and there. So they do what is technically right, but is not right according to the law system, which is another thing I kind of like was being addressed the whole time. Although it got a little samey, was the whole concept of what you're doing, you're putting together a law system that only benefits you, not the people you swear to protect. And of course, this whole mystifying element behind it of, oh, is administrators secretly working with the dark territories? How are these dark territory monsters able to be on the church? Or according to Alice, it's like the magic around the church should be so much that the dark territory monsters shouldn't be able to stand being anywhere near it. So you have this playing around, which is something interesting that they might play around with in the second half of the show if we ever get it on Toonami. That's something I'm interested in too. Although it looks like it'll overwhelmingly take place in the real world, which I don't really like, because the strength of Alicization was all the sword stuff, all the play, all the magic play that could only happen in this virtual realm and cannot happen in real life. In the real life, not only the real life segments were just plot dumps, really. This whole, oh, by the way, this whole thing with Floodlight, all this different stuff regarding that, the whole this is actually curing Kirito, but we're using him to build strong AI. It's just more boring. It looks like everything's gonna transfer to the real world. At least there's an action sequence in the real world now. So it's not just gonna be like, geez, those 2 episodes were just a bore to go through in the beginning with the whole, oh, let's find Kirito, let's go to the turtle thing. Although I understand it was completely necessary to the plot because other than that, everything was just weird magical shit happening in a fucking virtual reality. Ultimately, if I had to give a rating for the series so far, it'd only be a 6 out of 10. It's far from the worst that's currently on Toonami, in my opinion. It was interesting enough that it kept me going on watching for these 24 episodes, so I guess it can't be that bad. Although, it could have been better. It was good concepts they're playing with. They maybe just never were able to make it. It did feel like the plot was just plodding along, throwing stuff at the screen at times, and that's something that's just irritates me because it's so obvious, at least in my opinion. What do you guys think? Do you really like Alicization so far? Do you dislike it so far? I like hearing your opinions down below. Please leave a comment down below if you want this content. If you want more content like this, please subscribe. Please hit that notification button. Appreciate your support. I am Super Orange Cat, and that is all.